are back. It is Tape Don't Lie. It is your favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. You guys already know what to do. Subscribe. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, right? Hit the like button, hit the dislike button. If you don't like it, leave a comment. If you like it, leave a comment. If you don't like it, we already know we love all engagement over here. So make sure you guys do that. Also, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL. Then go ahead and follow my man BD Williams at BD Williams 18. Make sure if you're listening to this on Silver and Black Pride, this is your first time listening to us, go ahead and make sure you subscribe to Silver and Black Pride podcast as well, and check out my man Matt Holder's Handful. All right, guys. So we had a lot of change this week. Everything is changing. You got a new coach. You got a new offensive coordinator and play caller, right? And we got a new everything. Basically, everything is dynamic. Jon Gruden's out the window, guys. Jon Gruden got fired, so Jon Gruden's gone. Everything is going to be a little bit different. I don't know how different everything's going to be. I'm sure they're going to try to keep everything the same. It's going to be the same defense. The offense is going to be a little bit of the same.
It's going to be different. It's going to be different,
Yeah.
And I think the presentation and like the structure of like group meetings and some like culture things that Gruden had, whatever it is, every coach has their own thing. Mm-hmm. That's going to change. Rich Bisaccia will have his hands in that, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see how that what effects any Rich Bisaccia's presence has. But things are definitely going to be different. You were talking to me about it offline, the entertainment factor.
Yes.
Right, with Gruden. Something about him being a broadcaster. He loves the limelight. He's very animated, like you're saying, loud individual, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think some of that will help the whole workplace feel a little bit more, like this is an office. This is where we go to work, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's what I think this will bring. I think it'll take away the entertainment value of it. No more mentioning Twitter. No more taking shots of people putting his all 22 on YouTube. No more any of that kind of gimmicky something, because there's always something gimmicky he does at his press conference. Every some kind of joke or some kind of thing that he likes to do, or try to make a point. With his draft picks, he's trying to make a point, or he's always trying to make a point about something that's the media is saying about him, or what's happening on Twitter. Just like the other day he's talking about we don't have an offensive identity. Like, okay, bro, what your identity is. You guys been doing it for 5 weeks. It's so don't tell me you don't know what your identity is. You're just hearing what people are saying on Twitter and you just want to make fun of them. So I mean, it's kind of like that type of that mindset, and it kind of plays into the team. I mean, it's like over the years, I mean, we've been on Twitter for since 2011, a lot of people, and how much more has the team responded to us than it has before. The team didn't respond to people on Twitter. I mean, Derek Carr is trying to fight Max Kellerman on UFC and all this other type of stuff. That's all leadership, bro. I mean, that's all the coach. If the coach, puts out that type of culture, that's what you're going to see. So that's what I'm excited to see. I think we're just going to get back to
tuning out the noise is what you're saying.
Yeah, they don't tune out the noise on this team. That's the problem. That's half the problem, is they don't tune out the noise. I mean, because before, people have been talking crap about Derek Carr since he's been in the league. I mean, Raiders fans haven't, but people have been talking crap about Derek Carr since he's been in the NFL. He's been all over. Like that Sion Fahey guy used to go in on him. The one dude that works at Football Outsiders used to be slandering him for months. I mean, the smart guys, the draft Twitter guys, the smart guys that all work at the Ringer and stuff. They've been killing Derek Carr for years, and so he didn't respond to the noise back then. And then he joins it now. Now everything's the noise, everything he's hearing, because probably somebody's telling him. I'm sure Gruden was texting him stuff. So, it's kind of like that type of thing that is going to be different to me. It's going to be they're just going to get back to football. And that's why I'm I'm not tripping too much.
Gruden still has Derek Carr's phone number. He'll still text him that stuff, Derek Carr's got to block Coach Gruden's
Yeah.
call us. Feel me?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. But it's going to come down to Rich Bisaccia.
Yeah.
The task that he has at hand. If you're saying that, some of the things that Gruden was doing, some of the motivational tactics weren't working. Now Rich Bisaccia has to figure out what motivational tactics will work, what it's going to take for him to get the most out of this team. But that being said, personally, I'm glad that Gruden's gone. Honestly, we've seen the meltdowns late in the season. We've seen like lots of excuses being made by him.
Yeah.
Okay, certain things that he did, like kept Paul Gunther when it was like very clear for well over a season that this was not the right guy, right?
Yeah.
And just really hurt his chances of like coming back and kind of beating the odds, right? So a lot of this stuff is self-inflicted with Gruden. It's always been self-inflicted. Like this situation now, like it's his emails from like way back in the day. It's surreal. It's like a really incredible situation that's happening, but it's still self-inflicted by him, right? And so I think that a lot of his shortcomings has to do with that. I think he gets in the way of himself a little bit. So I am glad that he's gone as the Raiders head coach. We don't have to work, live through this circus, this Gruden circus.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the circus is over. You know what I mean? Like, and 'cause I wasn't the biggest fan of him getting hired. And then he traded Khalil Mack, and then I was done after that. And then I kind of just got into this offense, which now that I'm watching, I went back and watched Greg Olson's offense. I'm like, oh, I mean, because all the things we talk about, oh, he updated his offense. Look, I mean, he modernized it. You know what I mean? Like, nah, he just brought in Greg Olson, and then Greg Olson kind of started designing things, and he thought he could make the play calls. I guess. Like, I don't understand that. I don't know why he just didn't let Greg Olson call the plays if he's going to come in and just take his offense. So, the last couple of years he's put a little bit of his 22 personnel type of stamp, but like even the run game has become less creative since he's really tried to put his stamp on this offense, because what I feel like happened, this is just me being conspiracy theory Marcus here, is that he brought in Greg Olson, right? And then Greg Olson helped him to build with the personnel that was there when he was supposed to have the personnel, like Amari Cooper and Jared Cook and all those guys, right? And he brought those guys in, and then once they got into 2019, that's when he decided he wanted to put his imprint in the offense. That's when you saw more, running the football, right? More, heavy sets, more like less spread. There's a lot of spread into. If you guys go back, 2018, they spread the ball out a lot, and 2019, 20, and then now they're not doing as much spread. They're doing more like the under center type of stuff, and getting Josh Jacobs going. So it's just, I'm kind of happy about it too. I am, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm low key jacked. So I didn't think they'd ever win with him. I realized that after 2019, because I went and did some studying myself of this dude's career, and the losing at the end of the season, like that's something that's always happened. Like that is not like something that is just like new. That always happened to them. It happened to them with the 2001 Raiders. I mean, they were 10-3, and like their last 3 games, they scored like 12 points. And we're talking about with Tim Brown and Jerry Rice and Rich Gannon and Charlie Garner. They couldn't score any points to end the year. And then of course, they fooled everybody by blowing out the Jets like 41-0. And then they went the next week against the Patriots and they couldn't score any points. So, you tell me about that. I mean, and then it just trickling on. This like the red zone thing kept following him. He was bad in the red zone in Tampa. All right. I mean, he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good in the red zone since red zone percentage was allowed to be good at 55%. So he's still there.
Yeah.
But in 2001, that was great. But now it ain't. You know what I mean? Like that's not a good red zone percentage in 2021. So those things were never going to change.
The situational football pieces were always a work in progress for him. And I think it really just came down to being out. Like, yeah, you can be out of the game and be an offensive like scheme guru, great, right? But you can't be out of the game and like be a situational football master still, right? There was always going to be like that learning curve for him. And I agree, like a lot of stuff like kicking field goals and not going for on fourth down, and like when did they ever like fake like and then do an onside kick? How many fake punts have they run? Stuff like that. I think it's stuck in his style, his situational football style. It's stuck in 2001. It never advanced, it never progressed. And then the time off, he kind of missed some of these trends where coaches get rewarded for taking these chances, right? So hope that's going to remain to be seen if Rich Bisaccia is going to be like just go for the gold, which I really hope he does. And we just start seeing lots of fake punts and squib kicks and you name it. I'd love to see that, reverses on kick returns, stuff like that. Just to make it exciting, just to show like, hey, we're still trying to win here. We're not going down. We're not going down quietly.
And I'll even say this, like, I mean, Gruden's first year, right? And I talked about that they use a lot of what Greg Olson was doing in Jacksonville, right? And then Greg Olson just came from Sean McVay, but Greg Olson, he's a spread guy. He likes to spread right now. I don't know if he did that in Tampa, but I mean, he didn't get that from Jon, so I don't know where he got that spread stuff from. Maybe just from working with Terrell Pryor. He's like, oh, I like this, and then just kind of kept building on it. So I mean, the first 4 weeks, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the Raiders had a chance to be 3-1 to start that season. Like, they blew the lead against the Broncos. They had a 2-point lead up 19-7, right? Derek Carr's like 29 of 32. I mean, because he's already played in the offense, so it's like he was starting to pick it up real quick. But then they changed it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Gruden changed the offense the second year, but he came out, and then they lost that game. They're up 19-7, whatever, right? Next week, they go up and down the field on the Dolphins. The first couple, throws, Jordan Nelson's going down the field, right? They're doing all types of things. They're being super aggressive. And then, they're up 17-7, and then they blow that lead, right? And then they ended up, beating the Browns. So they blew 2 leads. And that's what, like, with the Amari Cooper, and, Amari Cooper had like a great game against the Broncos, and they just blew it. So it's the same thing. It hasn't changed. That's like, just think about that. Like, if that team starts 3-1, like, Amari Cooper is probably still on the team. They're probably still rolling. There's a whole lot of different things that happen. He destructed it like they suck, when it was like they didn't suck. It was just you were blowing leads, getting conservative. So, because I remember that. I remember the Dolphins game. I remember that stuff. Like, they just started doing like 2-yard passes and running with Marshawn Lynch, and then the Dolphins scored like 3 plays.
The conservative, how he plays with the lead. How he plays with the lead, a lot of things are just stuck in the past for him.
Yeah.
But you have an Greg Olson breakdown, right?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you show it, because I think that that's a good part of this discussion here.
All right. So let's get into Greg Olson and what Greg Olson's like to do. And I like I talked about, this is a more what the Raiders kind of did in 2018. So you'll see kind of the vision here. But let's talk about the run game. The run game is more diverse. So they do a lot of different things in the run game. So, usually you got a power here. You got the power O right there. So there's a mixture of power and zone a lot. And he doesn't really stick to one thing for a whole game, right? So now you see split zone. You got the split zone going there, right? Julian Thomas is a terrible blocker, but, hey, this is the Jags, right? And then we got you got the little bit of the, the outside zone, mid zone game there, right? So it's this is all one game, guys. This is 3 different runs, right? And then we even got a little special run here, right? This is different, like, kind of like an arc read, but like with the power mixed in with it too. So, and then we even got a little bit of outside zone arc read. So, we saw, Mariota run this play, and now we know where he got it from. So there it is, arc read. And then, of course, a little bit of a split zone with the wide receiver, which is just what I'm saying. So more diverse, more looks with the run game, right? I think that will help out this run game, just having more diverse looks, more different things that they do, like more counters, more just mixing it up, right? So we got play action here, right? Play action. We saw a lot more diverse play action. So you got split zone. They're running split zone. Hey, let's do a bootleg off it. Oh, that's sounds smart. Do a bootleg off a split zone that you run all the time, right? Do a nice little bootleg, get the quarterback out on the move, and get some good plays. And, you know, this is the second year running this offense, right? So, I mean, the Raiders haven't ran these plays. So if the Raiders ran some of these plays, it's going to catch people off guard. So we got another play action bang right there. That's a play that the Raiders run. You probably saw that with Hunter Renfrow week 1, right? Play action bang, right? Play action, right? So they got a more diverse play action game, right? That's with the tight end, right? They like to get the tight end here, right? More play action right here. Nice with the cross reach. You got the all verticals, and you get the dig behind it. Give Carr something underneath. You can hit him over the top too, right? So, like I said, lots of play action in this game too, right? And they couldn't run the ball, so and they're still going with the play action. You kind of saw the Yankee right there with that one. But the throw was pretty bad, and then you see, so like I said, more diverse. We got play action comebacks with a deep threat. You can see that could be Henry Ruggs at the bottom. So there's just play action diversity, right? And then you even see a different one. We got play action with a post at the bottom. With Blake Bortles, he decides to force it to the double go, to the sluggo at the top, which is, I guess, you got Allen Robinson. You can do that, but hopefully Derek Carr reads that correctly. It hits the skinny post. All right, so pass game against zone is just a whole lot better. Okay, so I know the Raiders really struggled against zone. I mean, that's kind of like the thing that really is hurting them right now. And against more too high defenses, right, they're not doing really well, right? So you'll see this one. I really love this one, right? And this is kind of like what the Broncos like to do. You see the stick nod, right, with the return route at the bottom. It's just beautiful. Stick nod, against it, because he's got, he knows the matchup that he's about to get with the linebacker based on the coverages they have. Sorry, not the linebacker, the safety. But then he gets the stick nod right there, man to man inside, big play, right? And this is another one, right? Boom, on the sluggo, beautiful. And then, he loves the isolation routes too. So it's a 3-by-1 isolation, isolating it. Allen Robinson got him in a condensed set, kind of stops the double team, right? Get him in condensed set. That's how you get your players to football, right? Get him in a condensed set, lined up one-on-one. Then you see it one more time here. Lined up, outside, get him on the go route. Of course, he gets tackled, pass interference. So, it's a vertical offense. It really is. And you kind of see, the Raiders have ran this play. They ran this play against the Broncos too. And you kind of see, like, right, good play call though on third down, but terrible throw, right? So he can find matchups, right? And he finds matchups and he attacks them, right? You see it one more time. That's the drive concept with the go route. And then you got the choice routes in here too, right? So you see Allen Robinson running the choice routes. So you can see that if he finds a wide receiver that he likes, he's going to set that guy up for success and try to find ways to get him the football at all times. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to find different ways to get them the football, right? And you see the screens too. He's actually, which is kind of funny, is why I ended that with the screen here, is, that's one of his things, is he to help develop the screen with Drew Brees out in Purdue, right? And then you see another one, nice little play against zone where they're able to, you see them beat the zone right there. So, there's a lot of different elements to how he calls plays, right? And I think that he kind of sets players up for success a little bit more too. I think he kind of isolates guys that he really wants to get the football and finds different condensed sets to get them the football. So I don't know who's going to pick to be that guy. You probably figure it'd be Waller, right? You figure that he would find ways to get Waller the football in different types of ways, and not just the simple ways that they're doing right now. And but it's all about the offensive line with this team, to be honest. Can he find ways to help protect Derek Carr. And that's why I think we'll see more play action. I think we're going to see a whole lot more play action, which I really like because there's play action all over the Packers game. Wasn't as much in the Bears game when, it got later on in the season, but they came out, they're doing a lot of play action, giving Blake Bortles some easy looks. So it helps the line too. It does. Play action helps the line, keeps the rushers at bay. Especially if they want to respect the run. I mean, a lot of people just talk about the linebackers with play action, but if it holds defensive ends too, because they're setting the edge. I mean, if they're just kind of rushing off the side, sometimes, they can get caught off in the run game. So it kind of slows them down just a little bit. Right. So,
yeah.
Sorry.
Are you saying that this offense has a chance to be better with Olson? What do you think?
Well, I'll say it like this. I think the quarterback and play caller relationship will be a lot more clearer. I think it will be a lot more designed around Carr's skill set. I think it'll be a lot more designed around what Carr likes to do. And it won't be as much as trying to, I'm going to run my offense and then, Derek Carr is going to figure it out. I think it's going to be more design to what Carr does best. So
is there like valid, because I've seen this thought floated out there, not just, us talking, offline. Is there any valid, idea to that or to the idea that Gruden's kind of like got in the way and muddled this whole process, and now that it's just going to be Olson and Carr, it could run better, basically?
I wouldn't say it's like it's like he came and muddled the process. I just think that he had an offense that he wanted to run and he needed somebody to help him design it. And I think that's what he had. He brought in Greg Olson. And then in the meantime, in the first year, they ran a lot what Greg Olson likes to do. Right. And then, while Gruden kind of learned and adapted, he then in 2019 decided that what kind of offense he wanted. And he decided to go get Josh Jacobs. And they were going to run the football. And then Derek Carr was going to be a ball control quarterback. So I don't know if that was how he thought, what he thought of Derek Carr, or if he thought that that's what he should do, or he thought that would help him out or make him play better. It made him play more efficient. He was very efficient in Gruden's offense, but I also think that it was more catered around what Gruden thought should be catered around Carr, and not what a quarterback coach would cater around Carr. Like if Bruce Arians had Carr, it would be different, because it would still be his offense, but he would still, make sure that he was comfortable and make sure that he is good in the head mentally, which is important for quarterbacks. Gruden talks that that's important, and he's all about the quarterback and he's all about mental stuff. But like, I think most of it, you have to make sure that dude is mentally clear. Like if you read the Quarterback Whisperer of Bruce Arians, that's all he talks about, is how he would make sure that Peyton Manning was mentally clear. Like I guess Peyton Manning one time had a tough game against the Patriots. They get their butts kicked by the Patriots all the time. So, he sees Peyton Manning pregame, and he's just freaking out. His feet are quick. He's pumped. He's hyped. And, Bruce Arians went over to them and he talked to him. Hey man, calm down. You got this. You're going to play this game, and he wouldn't have played the best game of his life against the Patriots that week. So that sometimes it's that's all it takes, man. With the quarterback, sometimes it's mental with them too, and you gotta, and it's not just Derek Carr. Like I said, that's why I use Peyton Manning as an example, because sometimes the quarterback coach has to be that relationship and build the offense and everything around the quarterback. So that's what I think will be a little bit different. I think the play calling is going to be designed around Carr's skill set. That's kind of the difference, because obviously he found a way to maximize Blake Bortles. I think, yeah, I
Yeah.
think Derek Carr's way better than Blake Bortles, you know what I mean? So Blake Bortles has never played as good as Derek Carr. So, you know, uh, and they got weapons, man. It's not that they ain't got talent around them. He's got the weapons. He's got a pass catcher, somebody that can catch their passes. I didn't show any of the choice routes, but there are definitely some choice routes that are there too, that he really likes to run. If you go look at his history, I mean, he throws the running backs a lot. So, I mean, that's something that's going to be probably coming to the offense too. We're going to see a lot more throws to running backs, plays like that. So, but I think you're still going to see a lot more vertical shots too that are designed and better designed. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Gruden has bad play. The passing deep concepts that they run, for them trying to be a deep passing team are so basic. I mean, he has two concepts. Really, he has a post. I mean, he had the post wheel, and then that they kept running over and over and over and over again. And then you have the four verts, and then you got Sale, and then you got Yankee, and
Right. Yeah.
really, I mean, that's really about it. I mean, they really didn't have like that diverse, and you already saw. I mean, Greg Olson already had like a bunch of diverse type of ways to attack the game vertically and create matchups that open up the game vertically. If I'm doing a 3-by-1 and I'm doing a sluggo, or especially the stuff the Raiders do, and they start adding sluggos and stuff like that, and more double moves. How many double moves do we really see? The only double move we see is the basic, he goes out and then he wheels up. That's the only thing we see. So, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on in this offense. Another thing that I think he needs to do, I think he just needs to reel in Hunter Renfrow a little bit. I think Hunter Renfrow is getting a little crazy out there. I think he's getting a little wild with the juke moves in his routes.
Right.
I think he needs to reel him in a little bit, or Edgar Bennett does. They got to reel him in a little bit. I mean, he's got Carr sacked 2 weeks in a row. So no matter what they do, I mean, I don't know. And also, I think they need to feature Ruggs a lot also too, man. I think he's ready. So we'll see how he feels. So I don't know who he's going to feature, because he obviously features somebody. That's what he does.
He likes to feature someone, obviously. I think that there's more matchup potential in this offense than what he had in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that just looking at his track record, I think guys who are like possession receivers do really well with him, right? So scheming up some stuff for Brian Edwards to go along with Darren Waller as far as like being like great possession, tough catch, in traffic kind of guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Henry Ruggs, like that is always going to add that element. Would love to see some deep shots schemed up, that they haven't run, they haven't put on tape during these last 4 years. That would be a breath of fresh air. It would make them really dangerous. Because if this is all Carr, this mentality to like constantly like go deep this year, right?
Yeah.
This is like, something like that Carr is putting on himself, because we know that that's not a Jon Gruden thing, right? Like Jon Gruden's been telling him not to do that. And now Derek Carr's just like, nah, I'm just going to do it. Coach.
I'm going to do it anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
He's gone full Russell Wilson. It's hilarious. Everybody still hates him. That's why I think it's funny.
Right.
That's what you wanted. Look at it.
That's what you wanted. There's a couple of things that the fans wanted they didn't realize was going to go the other way, like the run defense. You got a pass rush, but there's no run defense. Okay, like they go hand in hand. Okay, you got to pick one usually.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I was talking about Henry Ruggs. Just having someone like that, I think regardless, that's gonna help this offense out. If Derek Carr wants to throw deep, doing it different ways, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. Like, run Yankee, cool. But then, the next time you run Yankee, instead of a post, make it like, a big post corner or something like that, wasp, just, variations of it, keep the defense guessing, and not get predictable in certain areas of the game, man. It's been frustrating to watch, honestly.
Yeah. I haven't seen a sluggo since like Jared Cook ran one against the Cardinals. I haven't seen a slug on this offense in a long time.
Tyrell Williams in 2000.
Yeah.
Which was that 19?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had like one or two.
Yeah. I mean, because
But yeah, not something.
what I'll say about Ruggs, man, I think Ruggs is ready, bro. I think Ruggs, if he's gonna isolate somebody, I think it's him. He's ready. He's ready to do everything. I think the last game he had at the Bears game, dude was terrific. He was.
Oh yeah, you were saying he was running great routes.
He was terrific, bro. Terrific. Even he muscled through press. I saw him muscle through press. And I was like, oh yeah, he's ready, bro. He's ready. And him and Carr have a great connection. So I don't know why everybody's not trying. They're not trying to maximize that. So I don't, he's the only wide receiver right now that if Carr steps back and hits his drop and wants to release the ball, that he's going to be right there.
Right.
He's the only one. I mean, Hunter Renfro's dancing, forcing sacks and then, having Derek Carr get made fun of. And then, and then Derek Carr's getting made fun of because Hunter Renfro's still dancing over there. And nobody realized Hunter Renfro that, Carr's he's a viral joke because he's dancing. And then you got, and then he did it again this past week. I'm like, and then Carr's like he's holding the linebacker, trying to open up a lane, and then he looks back and he's still, it's like, so, it's time, bro. Throw the Ruggs, he's not doing that crap. He's on time. He's everywhere. Like I showed the dig route that I showed on Twitter, man. That's timing. And he's just so much speed, right? So so all the speed that he's building up on that dig in the corner, the linebacker or whoever's guarding him is gonna bail. And he's like selling it to his head's down. His head's down.
Right.
He's selling it. He knows
they're gonna bail.
They're bailing. and then he now has this quick change of direction. He just armed over and he was going this way. The dude was nowhere near him. And then Carr already threw the football. And then when he's turning around, he's ready for it. Boom. Bro, throwing the football. I was done.
Yeah.
If they got timing like that. And that happened in the Steelers game with the dig route. That's timing, bro. That's how you got 60 yards after it. That's timing. You know what I mean? And if they got timing down and he's the only one that knows everything and he's got it and he's second year and then he's got all this ability. Yeah, it's time, bro. Just feed him. Feed him and Waller, bro. Isolate them two boys. And then, let Hunter Renfro do the stuff underneath if you need him. But like those dudes need to be fed. Like you need to, because I'm telling you, if you do a 3-by-1 and you isolate Henry Ruggs by himself, they're all gonna be scared. The whole team's gonna move over there. They're terrified of him, bro. And he knows it too. That's why he the Mr. Waller, bro. Like he's running so fast. The guy, I think it's who's the dude? Number 33. I can't think of his name right now. For the Bears.
For the Bears, 33?
I even covered him.
I can't remember.
I even covered him in the last week. But he's guarding Ruggs, right? And then, he's bailing. And then Ruggs just stops and just kind of shoves it to the side. And it's like he has like 10 yards of separation. I was like, all right, bro. You're ready. So hopefully they see that. Hopefully they know that. And hopefully they realize that. I think Carr knows that. I'm pretty sure Carr knows that he has the timing down. He's not messing anything up. He's knowing what to do. He's not making the wrong decisions. Carr throws the ball up early to him. Like Asante Samuel was like 5 yards in front of him. He just throws it up to him. So he obviously has confidence in him too. Let's just unleash the Ruggs this week. That's what I say. Unleash him. I need like 11 targets. That's what I want. I want like 11.
I like the idea of what you're saying, play action. I like the idea. I don't know. You covered this. Not a heavy run guy. Greg Olson. No. The offensive line isn't great. Let's not try to do something just for the sake of doing it. If the offensive line isn't great, let's, they don't have to be out there trying to play, run block and all the nuance and everything that goes with that. It's a big ask being 50-50. I think it's okay, especially because the analytics have shown us you can play action if you don't run the ball.
Exactly.
They've shown us that, right?
Yeah.
So that's fine. It's not a big deal. So I think that being a more pass-oriented offense, like you're saying, I think that it bodes well, honestly, for what this offense needs at this time.
Yeah.
Maybe as you continue your deep dive, you can look into some of the things that he's done with the offensive line, some of the protections, and certain things that you see there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I already know. It's so funny that now you're in my shoes, because when they hired all 22,
Yeah.
right? Like charting some games, like just getting the feel for the defense, right? So
Yeah.
it's funny now you're in my position there. We both had to do that in the same season.
And I definitely would have thought you would have done it again before me. So
right.
Yeah, the bet. I definitely did it, but I think this will be a good thing going forward. I mean, but we'll see. We'll see how this team plays out, man. I still think, like I said, I think they got talent. I'm interested in who he's gonna pick to be the big dog, because he picks a big dog, and I just hope they see the growth in Henry, and they just don't pencil him as he's just gonna run out. I really hope they see it, and they kind of give him the whole thing, and they kind of just feed him and feed him short early. Like that's what I'm saying. Like feed him short early, feed him on slants, feed him and get even maybe give him a couple choice routes. I really feel like he would do that right at this point, like from everything, the timing that he's running routes with, and then the second half just unleash it. Just, next thing that thing's a sluggo. If you hit him on a sluggo, bro.
Yeah, it's over. To the crib.
To the crib.
So let's transition. I think that we should still talk about some of these things that are pressing. Okay, so shifting to just like the idea, like the coaches. Okay, Rich Bisaccia, he's the head coach now. Greg Olson is the offensive coordinator, and Gus Bradley he's still the defensive coordinator. Now, I think it's in this situation, usually when a coach is fired, okay, it's because they're no good, they're trash. And then the interim head coach has to come in, and the situation's already like failing, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty rare that an interim head coach has any success. But in this case, the Raiders weren't necessarily like falling apart. Sure they needed some leadership shakeup, clearly.
Yeah.
That being said, like this is still a good team when Rich Bisaccia took the reins here, right?
Yeah.
So I think that these three guys now, it's a great situation, I think, because they're all coaching for their next job right now.
Yeah.
And if one of these units does well enough, like if the offense plays like crazy, or if the defense steps up, or if this team goes to the playoffs or something like that, Rich Bisaccia, he's sitting there about to be a head coach, right? So the success of this team just helps each of these guys, and they're all going to have to go be a coach next year in the NFL somewhere, right? It helps their money, their career, for the Raiders to do well right now. And, obviously if there's enough success, maybe keeping some of these guys around. Now, you brought this up earlier. Olson and Bradley coached together before, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Right? And Greg Olson was fired by Gus Bradley after 2 seasons.
Yeah, and if I was Greg Olson, I would be mad about that, for sure.
Okay. So now there might be some tension, you're saying, potentially, between Olson and Bradley, which might be a reason why Rich Bisaccia was the one who was elevated to head coach. So
yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. Yeah, because I mean, if you go read the reports about Olson being fired, I mean, some Jag fans weren't too happy about it, because how bad Blake Bortles was. It wasn't that Greg Olson was bad. It was that Blake Bortles is terrible. So that was kind of the thing that that kind of disconnecting. They were like 2 and whatever, and 2 and they went 3-13.
3-13, yeah,
or something like that. So they just had that disconnect, and then you kind of put him on the sword, and it was probably really early. I think it was like October of that season. So it wasn't like it was
interesting. Yeah,
it wasn't like it was like deep late in that season. I don't. That is a little crazy dynamic to me, because especially the year before, Greg Olson comes in, they score like, they're 14th in scoring, they're throwing all these touchdowns. Allen Robinson has 1,400 yards. Allen Hurts is, whatever. Blake Bortles has 35 touchdowns. People think Blake Bortles is good now. He's like being ranked top 100. People like, oh, Blake Bortles, here come the Jags. Blake Bortles is up next. And then, everything just falls off the wheels, but it's the same offense. And, Blake Bortles just is Blake Bortles. And then he gets fired. So, yeah, I don't know. I would feel a little bit type of way, but,
Well, it's interesting for sure. There's some dynamics to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that these coaches, so Olsen can hang out over here with the offense. Bradley can hang out over here with the defense, and they can just compete against each other in practice.
Yeah.
I don't see why that's necessarily a bad thing. If there's animosity there, I think it could be a good thing.
Yeah. But we're talking about like what if Gus Bradley became the coach though? That would be
right.
A little different, because Greg Olson's probably thinking like, what if we win a lot? Are you going to keep me?
Yeah. Right. Well,
or does he bring Mr. Hackett, Mr. Hackett over there just chilling in Green Bay? You know what I mean? Like that's what I was thinking.
Greg Olson probably wouldn't stick around if Gus Bradley was made a coach.
Yeah, because Nathaniel Hackett be walking through that door. That's what would happen.
But Nathaniel Hackett,
which is the same offense, I guess.
But what about Olson? Olson maybe could get a head coaching job if the offense does well enough. So
yeah,
it's I think they're all coaching for a job. The chances that obviously the Raiders hire an outside coach is probably the highest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends on the success that the guys have right now. So I'm excited to see these guys hopefully coach the best football of their lives here and finish the Raiders up on a strong note. I'm just hoping that the season isn't a wash already 5 weeks in.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to feel like, the season's already over. I was pretty down, honestly. About all this stuff happening. A team loses a head coach, there's not really a track record for that team, playing deep into the postseason and stuff like that. So that got me down, but hopefully that's just my hope. We can.
There's only one, and that's Bruce Arians when he took over the Colts for Chuck Pagano, and Chuck Pagano got cancer.
Cancer, right? That's
the only one, and they actually played better. With Bruce Arians.
They played better with Bruce, right? They did, definitely.
As the head coach. Now, I mean,
circumstance,
I mean, that got Bruce Arians a coaching job, though. I mean, nobody would give him a coaching job before that, and
I'm saying there you go. So one of these guys, they're trying to pull up Bruce Arians right now, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, because you're right, but that was the only time that a halfway decent team lost their coach, though.
Lost their coach, right? Yeah, that's the thing. Usually, it's obviously 99% of the time it's because the team just sucks, right? And so someone's got to get fired. So this is it's a weird situation. Yeah, hopefully it's like an Indianapolis Colts Bruce Arians situation.
Mm.
That was a galvanizing thing. It was it wasn't because the coach made a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. It was he has cancer. The team rallied. It's a different dynamic here with this Jon Gruden controversy, as far as the team rallying behind what.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that adds an element of just a bit of a distraction to this whole thing. So hopefully the team can just keep their blinders on. They're able to tune the noise out. They're not on Twitter and doing all the social media stuff, checking out what everyone's saying, and they could just lock in. That's what we're hoping as Raiders fans, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that they're locked in. And I think the leadership on the team will make sure they're locked in. I think that they'll bring it back in. I think last week, you can kind of tell that. I mean, everybody was off last week. I mean, they can try to say that, they were pro football players, whatever, but yeah, I mean, you're mentally type of thing. I mean, Brian Edwards is running the wrong route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's dropping passes.
Drop passes, just the guys making all these penalties. Right?
Which
on both sides.
Which who knows? I don't know. And it's that game was just weird altogether. And so I kind of just
I
feel like
didn't even. I threw it away. I didn't even do like a full breakdown on it. Honestly,
yeah,
I didn't even. I was like, this isn't about scheme here. Like these guys, like they're playing like someone's weighing on them, right? And I said that we're gonna find out how badly this affected the team based on the performance. Like the Raiders should not have lost to the Bears. I'm sorry, they should not have, based off
no.
the teams that they've beaten this year.
Uh-huh.
The things that we've seen from them, should not have lost to the Bears. Um, and it's unfortunate that that happened. Obviously, especially like you look at the offense. The offense really, really struggled
Yeah.
in that game, and that's the team. That's the part of the team that's closest to Gruden, right?
Yeah.
And then there's only so much that the defense is going to be able to do if the offense isn't scoring points, and then like it's tough to also hide height, mismatch that they had with Allen Robinson going up against Amik Robertson, or even, that tight end that they had that scored on him, so you can't hide that all game long, especially if, you're keeping the team in it and the offense isn't scoring. So it was tough for the defense really to like hang in there for as long as they needed to, but I think some of them, they're playing, out of sorts as well. You saw all the penalties. I mean, the Max Crosby run, people are gonna be mad at me, but he definitely like went for like the WWE, like he elbowed Fields right in the throat. Like it was a great shot, like great shot. MMA, you might be okay with that, but
Yeah.
the ref saw it. I'm surprised he didn't get a fine for that, honestly. And then the Unique Ngakoue one, like that's just like textbook. No, we don't do that. So it's unfortunate that we saw the defense make some of these same mistakes that the offense was making as well. But I think it just goes to show that this really did affect the team. So I'm not going to sit back here and watch all this scheme and be like, oh, look at the strong hook curl dropper. Pass it off to the nickel. Like, no, like this is not what this game was about. So I'm throwing it away. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and just to back off that, like there's a lot of consoling too, which is interesting. There's a lot of like Darren Waller was like patting guys in the back a lot. Like you should have seen how fast he ran up to Brian Edwards until he dropped it. Should have seen how fast, bro. He sprinted. Sprint, full on sprint. You know what I mean? Like that's not normal. Like, I talked about it on the radio. Like I talked like he was, that was weird. Like, usually like you would drop a pass like that. Nobody's like, keep your head up type of thing. Like,
right.
You got this, bro. Like you're right, man. You're good. You're right.
Type
of thing.
You love to see it, but also like, why does he feel the need?
Why did he feel the need to run full speed?
Yeah, right. It just goes to show. Right.
You know what I mean?
Goes to show.
So it was it was interesting, man. Just watching that, like, because it wasn't just once, man. He even did it to Carr one time, like after a false start. He was like, man, yeah, bro, like, hey, yeah. This isn't gonna work, bro. This is not gonna happen. So that's what I'm saying. So I think they might be better. Like Brian Edwards was affected, bro. Like, he was talking back to Gruden on the broadcast. You watch a broadcast when you ran the wrong route.
Right. Of course.
He's talking back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's tough to see that is having that kind of effect that it did. So I think again, it's a good thing that Gruden's gone, for that reason. So hopefully we're gonna see some things change for the Raiders.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be it for this episode of Tape Don't Lie. I have a Trayvon Moore thing that I was gonna do if time permitted, but I felt like the conversation should be about what happened recently, make things as current as possible. So we didn't get to that. Stay tuned for that. I might do it separately, time permitting. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, myself at BD Williams 18, at Marcus Johnson at the Mark John NFL. You can, hit us up on Twitter. You can see some things that we're going to be posting, pertinent to the games that lie ahead and the players that play on the field, things of that nature. So make sure you do that. Also, make sure you go to Manscaped and enter the promo code TDL to get yourself 20% off plus free shipping on any Manscaped product. Get yourself a groomer. I need to bust out my Manscaped, you know, looking like I haven't shaved in a few days, right?
Yeah, me
I got
too, man.
I got to charge it, right? So, but anyways, thanks guys for tuning in. That's it. We're the Nation. We out.
Peace.